Alrighty, let's make a new character. So in my first video, I made a character and put him through university as their pre-career education. In my second video, posted on the 28th of December, I did a character that went straight into a career, did not do any pre-career education. And so this third character, which will be at minimum the last character, possibly I might make more, we'll see. This third character, we're going to go through military academy. I just wanted to show you guys those starts, and if I can, I'd also like to cover pensions if this character gets that far. So we're going to go into Foundry, hop over to our Actors tab, and we're going to make a new actor. We're going to call them Sarah. Yeah, why not Sarah? 18, female. Actually, this will not be the last character because we still have to cover other races or other species. So this one is also a human. Homeworld I'm not going to worry about because, you know, this is just a test character or an example. And as you can see in the background here, let me close this, I've actually got a copy of that flowchart we're following when making characters. So we can follow that if necessary, and we can see we start here. First thing we do is we roll characteristics. 2D for every characteristic, calculate the dice modifier. There are different methods for doing this. My personal preferred method would be to roll 3d6 and drop the lowest. And if you're feeling extra generous, you could potentially even throw in re-rolling ones. So your characters can't have like really bad stats. So if you roll like a 6 and a 1, you would re-roll that 1. And hopefully you'd get something higher. But we're just going to keep it simple. This time we're going to go in reverse order. We'll start with social, work our way back to strength. But we are just going to roll 2d and play it as it lays. So we're going to do /r, 2d6. I'm going to copy this. We're just going to do this 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pretty average stats so far. That 5 is a little low. That 3 is very low. Nothing positive, at least as far as our dice modifiers will go, except maybe intellect. Nope. So we've got 7 social, 7 education, 8 intellect, 5 endurance, not great, 3 dexterity, really not great, but a 7 strength. Pretty run-of-the-mill character. I'm going to open up my core rulebook. Drag this into here so you guys can see it. And you know what? Because we're going into military academy, I'm going to do myself a favor just because I know it'll help. I'm going to swap out my social for my dexterity. So our dexterity will be 7, social will be 3. You know, if you want to be pretty lenient with your players, there's no reason not to let them do this. In fact, you could probably just let them roll 6 ability scores and apply them as they wish. That way they can, you know, at least start to make the character that they want. By the very nature of character creation in Traveller, you don't get to really decide where your character goes. You can have an influence, but, you know, if the dice don't go your way, you're not going to get to do what you want to. But I want to try and start with, you know, a physically gifted, or at least physically average traveler, so that they have a higher chance of succeeding in the military academy, and that's mainly for the purposes of this video. I want to demonstrate the military academy and a military career. So, yeah, 7 strength, 7 dex, 5 endurance. It's not great. This isn't going to be like a frontline fighter. This will probably be like more of a support role in the military, but we can make it work. So our next step, we're going to do background skills. So your background skills are your education dice modifier +3. We have a +0 for education dice modifier, so we get 3 background skills total. Going over to here, page 9 of the physical book, page 10 of your PDF, we have our list of background skills. For this character, I think we're going to give them athletics. So we'll go athletics 0. Give me one moment. Okay, so athletics was our first one. We're going to set that to 0. And remember, all of these background skills are level 0. We'll go with carouse. Why not? Right here. And then finally, I think we'll finish up with profession. Maybe not profession, maybe survival. Alrighty. Those are our background skills. Our next step is our pre-career education. So right over here, we've got choose university or military academy, and then roll for entry. So in our core rule book, I'm going to go back to Traveller creation. So this is page 16 of the physical book, 17 of the PDF. And we're doing military academy. So first step is our entry. We need to decide if we want to do Army, Marines, or Navy. The Army and Marines both deal with endurance, at least for their entry requirement, and then the Navy is intellect. So looking at our character sheet, intellect is the better choice for us, but endurance, a -1 is not great, but it's not horrible. We could try for the Army or the Marines if we want to, but I think we're going to go with the Navy. So we're looking for an intellect roll of 8 or better. Now I do want to point out that you do not have to do your pre-career education in the first term. You have up to the first 3 terms to make this decision. So you can go into career first, and then in your second or third term, go into military academy or even university if you want to. But for this character, we're just going to jump right into it. So we're looking for an intellect roll of 8 or better. Intellect, difficult, roll. 6. That's unfortunate. Didn't work out, but you know what? We're going to say it did. I specifically for this video, I want to demonstrate military academy and how that works. So we're going to pretend we got an 8 and we got into military academy. The first step we would do is we would gain all service skills of the military career that the academy is tied to at level 0, as with basic training. So if I go over here, I go to the career summary, I'm going to delete this merchant career, and we are going to scroll down to the Navy. Right here. First thing I'm going to do is add a little comment, just so I can get back to this easily. Navy career. Post that, swap back to my select tool, and we are gaining the service skills at level 0. Service skills is this table right here. And they are pilot, vac suit, athletics, gunner, mechanic, and gun combat. So 3 at a time. Give me a minute, I will add these to the character sheet. Alrighty, so I went ahead and added those skills. We already had the athletics because of our background skills, but I added the other 5, and those are our service skills as part of our basic training. So jumping back up to military academy. The next step would be our graduation. So a graduation for all of the different services is an intellect roll of 7 or better. You get, if you roll an 11 or better, you graduate with honors and you gain an extra benefit or 2. And then you have a +1 to the roll if your endurance is 8 or better, and a +1 if your social is 8 or better. We have neither. So we're making a straight intellect roll. We're looking for a 7 or better. 11. Sweet. We don't have to pretend we succeeded this one because we do. So we graduate. It is an 11, so we graduate with honors. So first things first, I'm going to hop over to my info tab, and under description, I'm going to say term 1, military academy, graduated with honors. So we graduated with honors. So let's go ahead and look at the graduation benefits. So the first one is, if entering the same military career the academy is tied to, select any 3 service skills and increase them to level 1. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be joining the Navy, so we get to select 3 of those service skills that we got, and we're going to increase them to 1. So first off, we're going to do athletics. And athletics, as you guys know, is a general skill. So we actually get to choose a specialty, and our character seems to be decent at both strength and endurance, or rather strength and dexterity. So we'll just choose strength, and that becomes a 1. And we get to choose 2 more. So we'll also make our survival 1, and I think we'll do a gun combat specialty as well. You know what? We'll do gunner specialty. Maybe this character was part of the screens on like a ship. So I believe that means that they were a gunner on a ship. We'll do that one. Why not? Make it interesting. Our next benefit is that our education goes up by 1. That's a pretty good bonus. So our education becomes 8. If the traveler graduated with honors, social goes up by 1. So we did graduate with honors, so our social is now 1, or rather 4. And then graduation allows automatic entry into the military career the academy is tied to, so long as it is the first career attempted. So we are going to be taking that. We're going to be joining the Navy, so we do not have to roll for qualification. That's a pretty decent bonus. And then finally, this last one, graduation allows a commission roll to be taken before the first term of a military career, so long as it is the first career chosen after university with a DM +2. So basically, when we go into the Navy after this, we get a +2 to the commission roll. Now the commission roll is your entry into the officer's ranking. If you succeed, you only get to do this in your first term, unless your social is a 9 or higher, in which you can try again. You just incur a -1 for every previous attempt. We get to do this for the first time. So we're finished with that term 1, our pre-career education in the military academy. We'll say Navy to be specific. Keep things Navy Military Academy. Graduated with honors. That's our first term done. Our next step would be to age our character up. So we're 22 years old now. Each term is 4 years. And we're going to move on to term 2. I know for this character we're going for Navy career. So we're going to say Navy. And actually let's choose a assignment first. So hopping down to the Navy career. Normally our first step would be to roll for qualification to see if we get in, but because we graduated from military academy, we get automatic entry. And our next step would be to roll for commission, because why not? So our commission roll is an 8 or better, and if we remember, because of our military academy, we get a +2 to this. So we're going to make a social roll. Our difficulty is difficult, but our custom DM is a +2. Let's see if we get lucky. 10, we get lucky. So we come in as an officer. Still rank 0, but we are on the officer table instead of the enlisted table, which means we get some extra benefits or some different benefits. So before we deal with that, let's go ahead and choose an assignment. I think for this character, we're going to go with engineer/gunner. I think that'll work good. So we're going to go under info, term 2, engineer/gunner, Navy, officer, rank 0. And looking at this officer table, we can see, oh, officers come in at rank 1, apparently. Okay. Officer, rank 1. And we can see that the officer, the rank 1 officer, gets a title of ensign. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And then they gain a skill, melee blade 1. So I'll take that. We're going to grab the melee blade, and that is a 1. So we're set up. We're in this career. We are an engineer/gunner officer, rank 1. We've gotten that first initial benefit. Our next step would be to do our service skills. We've already gotten all those at level 0, so we just get to jump straight in, choose a table to roll on. The tables that we have access to are the personal development, the service skills, the officer table, and then the engineer/gunner table. Our education is an 8, so we actually could roll an advanced education as well. So this character has a lot of options. I think we're going to start with personal development. I'd like to get one of my physical stats up to a +1 if possible. So we're going to roll a d6 and see where we land. 6. Social goes up by 1. Not what I was hoping for, but that does bring our social. Never mind, I thought it would bring it to a 0, but it does not. That's okay. Social goes up by 1. That's our skill. Our next step, of course, is to do survival. So for the engineer or gunner, the survival roll is an intellect of 6 or better. So we're going to roll intellect, average difficulty. 7. We succeed. So down here we get to roll on the events table, which is a 2d6 table. 7. I believe that's a life event. Yes. So jumping down to the life events table, we're rolling 2d6. I apologize if I move fast. Once you get the hang of this, you'll find that this does get easier and you get faster. We rolled a 7, so you gain a new contact. It doesn't really specify much. So you gained a new contact in the Navy. And you can get as specific with this as you want. You can pad this out with a very detailed person and how you met them, what they did for you, what you did for them, who owes who a favor, so on and so forth. For the purposes of keeping this video short, I'm going to just keep it bare bones. So that's our life event. Jumping back up to the Navy career. We survived. We rolled our life event. Our next step would be to advance. Our advancement roll for an engineer/gunner is an education of 6 or better. So roll in education. Average difficulty. 6. Just barely made it, but we did advance. So going down here, I'm actually going to change this to officer rank 2. Which I believe gives us a different title. Yeah, we are a sub-lieutenant, so I'm just going to copy that instead of worrying about spelling it. Title of sub-lieutenant, and that gives us one more benefit, leadership 1. Hey, that's actually pretty useful in combat. So let's grab leadership 1. This character is turning out pretty good. So let's recap. We've done military academy. We've gotten into the Navy with no qualification roll. We did succeed in our commission roll to become an officer. We've gone through our first term in the Navy career, ranking up, gaining our skill, and surviving. Our next step would be to make the choice of mustering out and becoming a traveler and being ready to play the game, mustering out and switching careers, or continuing in this career. Now, I should note that when you roll to advance, or rather if you roll to survive, I wanted to note that in your advancement roll, if you roll a natural 12, so 2 6s, then you must continue in that career. You do not get the option of leaving. You have to continue. And I also want to note something that I just learned, is that your advancement roll has to be equal to, or if your advancement roll is equal to or less than the number of terms you spent in that career, then you cannot continue in the career. So that's actually a reason to not necessarily try and advance. Because if you don't roll high enough, you're kicked out of the career. That's something that I wasn't aware of. Just learned right now, and you can read that here. As well as the rule about the natural 12. So we're going to hop back down. Keep that in mind. And we are going to continue in the Navy. So that term's over. Next step would be to increase our age. So we're now 26 years old. And we're going into term 3. Term 3, we're going to continue. Engineer/gunner, Navy, officer, rank. We'll leave that blank. We might get a new title. Title of something. So we're going to choose our skill table. I think for this one, we'll go with the officer table. So we'll roll a d6. 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Admin. Admin, we get admin as level 1. Not too bad. We're learning a bit about bureaucracy. Alrighty, our next step is survival, which is an intellect of 6 or better. So let's roll intellect. Average difficulty 10. We survive, which means we get to roll in the events. 2d6. 5. You are given advanced training in a specialist field. Roll education 8 or better to gain 1 level in any skill you already have. That's not bad. Let's see if we make it. Nice, a 10. We do. So we gain 1 level in any skill we already have. I think we're going to increase our gun combat up to 1, which means we'll gain a specialty. Yeah, we'll do that. So we'll gain a gun combat specialty. We'll go with energy. Sorry, we gain gun combat energy level 1. That's our event. Our next step would be the choice. Do we want to roll to advance or fail? So we have only had 2 terms in the Navy now. So if we do roll a natural 2, so 2 1s, we would be forced out. But I think our odds are pretty good that we'll advance. So we're going to roll an education of 6 or better to see if we advance. 8, we do advance. So we are now officer rank 3. Comes with a new title and benefit. Oh, no benefit, but we are now a lieutenant. Title of lieutenant. So that's our advancement roll. So that would be the end of this turn. We're going to go ahead and increase our age. We are now 30 years old. Next term, we have to deal with aging. But we're now in term 4. And as I said, I'm going to try and reach a pension. So we are going to continue in this field. Rank blank, title of blank. And let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to roll on the engineer/gunner table this time. So we'll do a d6. 1. Engineer. Nice. So we get an engineer skill. Comes in at level 1. So we get to choose a specialty. So right now we're going to gain 2 skills technically. We gain the general engineer skill at level 0. And we get a specialty. I think for this character we'll go with jump drive. Level 1. Next is our survival roll. We're looking at an intellect of 6 or better. 11 easily succeeds. So we get the event table, 2d6. 10, pretty high roll. You have the opportunity to abuse your position for profit. If you do so, gain an extra benefit roll for this term. Refuse and you get a +2 to your next advancement roll. Ooh. This is a hard choice. I think I'm going to go for the advancement roll, mainly because it helps me stay in the career. Though getting the extra benefit roll would be pretty good as well. So we're going to do the advancement, so we get a +2 to our next advancement roll, which is next. So we're running an education 6 or better. We need to make sure we roll at least a 4 to avoid being kicked out. And our custom DM is a +2 from that event. I like our chances. An 8, we succeed. So we now are rank 4 officer, which gives us the title of commander and comes with tactics naval 1. Sounds pretty badass to me. We're going down to tactics, and again we're gaining 2 skills. We have the general tactics, and then we have tactics naval. General tactics is 0, tactics naval is 1. And then we are a commander. So that's our advancement roll. Next step would be to muster out or continue on. Again, we're going to continue on. So let's go ahead and age our character up. We're now 34 years old, which means we have aging to deal with. So our aging table, I have it saved right here. What we're doing is we're rolling 2D. We have a negative DM of our number of terms total. And as long as our result is a 1 or more, we have 0 effects from aging. So we're rolling 2d6 with 4 terms, so -4. We're hoping at least for a 1. Nice, we got a 5. So 0, no aging effects. We're good to continue. We're on to term 5. Same thing, engineer/gunner, Navy, officer, rank, title of. Let's see what skill we get. Let's go ahead and roll on the advanced education. Why not? So we're going to roll a d6. 1. Electronics. So we gain an electronics skill, which we don't have. So we're going to go and grab our electronics general. I have to drag it in down here. Electronics general becomes 0, and we'll gain electronics computers, I think, at level 1. Nice. Now we roll to survive. Intellect 6 or better. 5. Let's just pretend we survived because I want to keep this going. I want to show you guys the pension. So we're going to just say I survived. Our next step would be to roll on the events table. 6. Your vessel participates in a notable military engagement. Gain 1 electronics 1, engineer 1, gunner 1, or pilot 1. We're going to go with gunner 1. So we already have gunner screens 1. Because this specifies a skill level of 1, we cannot increase our screens up to 2. We have to choose a different specialty. So we're going to go with turrets. And that becomes 1. Nice. Alrighty, that's our event. Our next step would be to roll and advance. So we're looking for at least 5. If we roll a 4 or lower, we need to exit this career. So our advancement roll is education, 6 or better. Give it a shot. An 8. We succeed. So we're now rank 5 in our officer table, which of course comes with the new title. We are captain. Oh. Actually. Never mind. Yeah, we are a captain, and this benefit is actually really good. So we have 2 things. Either our social becomes 10, or our social goes up by 1, whichever is higher. So our social is 5, so our social becoming 10 is higher than our social going up by 1. Our social is now a 10. That's huge. That's big. So our character is actually a pretty notable person in the Navy. Not bad. And that comes with the social benefit. Alrighty. So we're finished with that turn. Next up would be to age up. Roll for aging. 2d minus 5. 3. No aging effects. This character is doing pretty good. I mean, with the doctoring of some rolls. But I hope you guys are getting what's happening. And we're going to do one more term for this character. We're going to do a term 6. Same thing. Engineer / gunner. Navy officer. Rank blank. Title of something. So let's choose our table. We're going to choose personal development for this last one. 4. Intellect goes up by 1. That's pretty good. Let's go ahead and roll to see if we survive. Intellect 6 or better. 5. That's unfortunate, but we're going to say we succeeded. Again, just for the purposes of this video, when you guys are doing this yourself, I highly encourage you to play it as the dice lay. So we're going to say we succeeded. So we're doing 2d6 on our table. 11. That's a very high roll. Your commanding officer takes an interest in your career. Either gain Tactics Naval 1 or DM +4 to your next advancement roll thanks to their aid. Now we already have Naval 1, so we're going to take the +4 to advancement. So we're going to roll education 6 or better, and we get that +4. That's great. 7. We succeed. Barely. So we have spent 5 terms in the Navy, not including military academy. That's how I would rule it. So if we had rolled a 6, we still would have succeeded, but if we had rolled a 5, we would have been out. So we advance one last time. So our new rank, rank 6, we are an admiral. And our social goes up again, either a +1 or up to 12, whichever is higher. 12 is higher, so we get a +2 social. Wow, this character has really climbed up from the dregs of society. They've started out with a minus or with a 3 social, and they've climbed up to 12. They've become a very, very notable Navy member. And yeah, that's the end of that term. We're going to age up one last time. We are now 42 years old. Rolling 2D -6. 0. That, unfortunately, means we age. Fortunately, a 0 is the least. So I believe we just reduce a physical characteristic by 1. Yes, right here. Reduce one physical characteristic by 1. That's an easy choice. We're going to go with strength. Alrighty, that's the effects of aging. We've reached an admiral, not captain, for reaching rank 6. And yeah, that's our traveler. Now we do have the choice, muster out or continue. This has actually been fast enough. I think we're going to do one more career, but first, let's muster out. So mustering out, we gain a benefit roll for every first term, as well as bonus rolls depending on the rank we achieved. So our first term, or for each full term, we have 5 full terms, terms 2 through 6. And then looking at our bonus benefit rolls, if you reach a 5 or 6 rank, you get 3 extra benefit rolls and a +1 to all benefit rolls from this career. This is why you want to go far in a career. These rolls are going to be great. So we get 5 + 3, 8 benefit rolls because of this career, and all of them have a +1. Now, I also want to point out something that I just noticed. If your character has the gambler skill, you get a +1 to all cash column rolls. That's actually really great. So let me clear this. We've got 8 rolls total. We are going to, because we get such good benefits with this, we're going to do all 3 of our cash rolls. Remember, throughout your traveler's entire lifetime, all of your careers, you get to roll in the cash table 3 times total. We're going to use all 3 cash rolls on this career, and that still leaves us with 5 other benefit rolls. So I'm going to do a D6 +1, and we'll do the 3 cash rolls first. So that's 1, 2, 3 cash rolls. A 5, a 4, or rather a 6, a 4, and a 3. This is going to be great for this character. 6, a 4, and a 3. So we've got 50,000, 10,000, and 5,000. So 65,000 credits from our cash rolls. And we still have 5 benefit rolls left over. So I'll clear this one more time. I'm just going to do this 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, these all also have a +1. So let me not forget that. So let me just write it out. So we've got a 6, 2, 4, 7, and 7. Oh, this is phenomenal. So starting at the first one, 6. Ship's boat or 2 ship shares. Give me 1 second. I need to look up a ship's boat. Alrighty, so this is a ship's boat. You receive a ship's boat or other small craft with a limit of 10 million credits and tech level 12. If you roll this benefit again, gain pilot's small craft. Alternatively, receive a ship share instead. I think to keep things simple, we're going to go with the ship shares. So our first one was 2 ship shares. So under info, I guess we'll put it right here under description. 2 ship shares. Our next roll is a 2. Intellect +1. That's pretty good. Next we have a 4. Get a weapon. Okay, I'll make a note of that. We'll go through that at the end. And finally, 2 sevens. Social plus 2. That's ridiculous. Our social's just gone up by 4. We have a 16 in social now. Let me double check and make sure there is no max for a characteristic. Yes, so I had to double check. The maximum score for a characteristic is 15 for an unaugmented traveler. So this traveler is not augmented, so that social becomes 15, not 16. We still have a plus 3. This traveler is renowned. This would be a great character to play. So that's our benefit rolls. We have 2 ship shares and a weapon. Let's go ahead and find that weapon. So going over to my bookmarks, going down, I know that this character is decent with gun combat energy weapons and blades. And the weapon gives us a credit limit and a tech level limit. So we have select any weapon with a limit of 3,000 credits and tech level 12. If you roll this benefit again, you may take another weapon or 1 level in the appropriate melee or gun combat skill for a weapon already received as a benefit. So we have 3,000 credits and a tech level 12 limit. So I'm going to hop down. I think I'm going to go for melee weapon. Maybe this character carries around a sword. That sounds pretty cool to me. Broadsword? Ooh, that sounds badass. Oh, but they're so cheap. Maybe I can upgrade one. Give me a minute to look. Alrighty, so I cheated a little bit. I actually also own the Central Supply catalog rulebook. Just to show you, which is this rulebook. And this has a lot of cool extra gear that you can get. And so I went into the blade weapons and I took a look at what they have. And something that stood out to me was the chain drive sword. That just sounds awesome. Now, if I was running the core rulebook, I do have some options for bladed weapons. But unfortunately, they're pretty standard. And none of them are very great. Or special, I'll say. If I had to choose between these, I'd probably go with either the cutlass, the rapier, or the broadsword. I just like the idea of this guy carrying a fucking sword around. It sounds so cool. But because I have access to it on the Central Supply catalog, I'm going to go with the chain drive sword. Looking at it, it's a tech level 10, which fits our criteria, and it only has a credit cost of 500 credits. It does 4d damage, weighs 4 kilograms, and its traits are AP2, which I believe is armor piercing of 2. So it's actually kind of suitable against armor. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to make that, and then I'll get back with you and show you how I did that. Alrighty, so just to show you guys what I did to make this, is I have all my things organized over here. I know the colors get a little confusing, but I have equipment. Under equipment I have weapons, and then under weapons I have melee. And what I did is I created a new item in that, named it Chain Drive Sword. Type was weapon, and I brought up this, and all I simply did was I filled in the information on this line in there. So the name, tech level, range, damage, weight, cost, I actually missed that, and then the traits. The cost, I believe it said 500. Yes, 500. So we've got tech level 10, cost 500 credits, quantity is just 1, 4 kilograms, feature / trait, I put AP2, armor piercing 2, but down here you also see there is an armor piercing value. I made sure to fill that in at 2. Our damage is 4d, so 4d6, and then range is melee. The last thing I made sure to do was I set an associated skill name, so that when I drag this onto my character, it automatically pulls that melee blade to be used when rolling. There we go. We got a chainsword on the back of Sarah. Damn, she's badass. This is cool. Alrighty. So I believe I said we'll do one more term. Give me one moment to get set up before that. Alrighty, so we're gonna act like this character just retired from the Marines. And the last step that I actually missed was the pension. So when you spend 5 terms or more in a career, you gain a pension that's paid out every year. So this character has spent 5 terms in the Navy. So they gain a 10,000 credit yearly pension. So under finances, pension, we're just going to say 10,000 credits, and we can say pension from Navy paid out yearly. Nice. So that's our pension. I just wanted to make sure I cover that. If we had made it, you know, a couple of extra terms, you gain some extra credits for that. So give me 1 second. We're going to look at this career summary table, and we're going to give our retired Navy Admiral a hobby. Alrighty, so I actually love this. So this Sarah, this character who has climbed her way up from the dregs of society, a social of 3 up to a social of 15, she's actually going to become a noble after her career in the Navy. So her next career is noble. So let me actually think it's close to the Navy right here. So I'm going to make a new comment just so I have note of it. Noble, and I'm going to delete the Navy career because we're done with that. And our first step is our qualification roll. So this is great. Our qualification roll is a social roll of 10 or higher with a -1 for every previous career. So we would have a -1 because we've had a career as a engineer/gunner. But you have automatic qualification if your social is 10 or higher. We have a 15 in social. So yeah, she's a noble. So we're going to go down here. We're going to say term 7. Noble. We'll do the assignment too. Noble. Let's see. Let's choose an assignment. She doesn't really strike me as the kind of person who'd become a dilettante, which is kind of like just a useless person. Noble who just eats and, you know, does nothing. I would think that this person becomes a diplomat. That sounds more interesting to me than administrator. So we're going to say a diplomat. Diplomat, noble. We are rank 0 because we are starting over. And we're in. No qualification roll, so we get to jump straight into it. First up, basic training. We get to choose a service skill because this is our second career. We're going to go with the diplomat skill. Becomes level 0, which I don't think we have. We do not. Cool. So diplomat level 0. Right. Nope, that's deception. Diplomat level 0. That's our basic training. Next step would be to choose our skill table to roll on. We're going to go with the diplomat table. Let's roll a d6. 1. Advocate. So our advocate comes in at level 1. Nope. Advocate. Level 1. This character is pretty well padded out. Next step would be our survival roll. I want to point out that for the noble, at least there are different ranks and bonuses for each of the different assignments. So let's see, we are a diplomat. So we're starting out as an intern, which is kind of funny, which comes with no rank or bonus. So diplomat, our advancement roll is a social of 7 or better. I think we have a pretty damn good chance of that. Let's roll a social. 9. Easily succeed. So we are a rank 1 diplomat. Title of, we are no longer an intern. We are now a 3rd secretary, which gives us admin 1. Third secretary. I believe we already have admin 1. We do. So no benefit there, but that's okay. That's our advancement roll. Oh, I forgot to do our event roll. So we're going to roll 2d. 8. The conspiracy of nobles attempts to recruit you. If you refuse, gain the conspiracy as an enemy. If you accept, roll deception or persuade 8 or better. If you fail, roll on the mishap table as a conspiracy collapses. If you succeed, gain 1 level of deception, persuade, tactics, or carouse. Our naval admiral is too good for this. They're not going to join a conspiracy. So we're going to gain them as an enemy. She's not afraid of these people as enemies. Gain an enemy conspiracy when acting as a diplomat. Seems to fit her character. So we gain nothing, but except an enemy. That's alright, she's not scared. So because this is going so well, we're going to go through this again. So last step, age up our character, 46 years old. Let's go ahead and do our aging. So we're looking at a -7 total, so 2d6 minus 7. 2. No aging. Lucky us. And we're going to do this one more time, because this is fun. Fair mate, diplomat, noble. Maybe we'll rank up again. Rank whatever. Title of whatever. Let's choose a table. We'll do diplomat again. We also have access to advanced education. You know what we'll do a diplomat again. That sounds fun. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Steward. Steward level 1. That's actually pretty useful for a traveler. Steward level 1. Lets you take on higher class passengers. Nice. Steward level 1. Survival roll. We're looking at an intellect of 5 or better. 8. Easily succeed. Events table 2d6. 5. You inherit a gift from a rich relative. Gain a +1 to any 1 benefit roll. Hey. Not bad. And I'm just gonna gain a +1 to 1 benefit roll. Just make a note of it there. To do this vertical line, you hold shift and you use the backslash right underneath your backspace key. Like that. It's the key that normally does this. If you hold shift and use it, it does that vertical line. We get a +1 to a benefit roll. Next step would be to advance. Social, 7 or better. If we roll a 2, which highly unlikely, we are kicked out, but something to keep note of. 11. We easily advance. We're rank 2. Title of second secretary. So great. You know what? I think we're going to keep going. This is just too much fun. Title of second secretary. This character is just... she's great. Can I... oh, I cannot enlarge this. Interesting. Alright, that's alright. Let me just create a little bit more space down here. Oh, that'd be the end of that turn. We advance. We're rank 2. Second secretary does not come with a bonus yet. We'll get the bonus with our benefit roll. But let's go through it one more time. Last step would be aging, of course. We're now 50 years old. She's getting up there. But don't forget this is future. We're doing 2d6 minus 8. Cross our fingers. Ooh, -4. Ooh, that's not going to be good. She's getting hit hard with aging right now. Reduce 2 physical characteristics by 2. Reduce 1 physical characteristic by 1. Ooh, so we're going to do the one on endurance that becomes a 4. And I think we'll just split it evenly. We'll do strength and dexterity both go down by 2. So that's a 4. That's a 5. That's unfortunate. She is feeling the effects of aging. You know what? That's probably going to be enough. She's going to realize she's just not what she once was. And she's going to muster out. She had 2 successful terms as a diplomat. She wants to go do her own thing. So let's muster out. We've got 2 full terms as a diplomat. That gives us 2 benefit rolls. We also reached rank 2, which gives us 1 bonus one. So that's 3 benefit rolls total. And we get a +1 to 1 of those rolls. Now remember, we used all of our cash rolls during our time in the Navy, so we do not get to roll in the cash. Each of our 3 rolls will be the benefits table. So we're just going to go the first one to do a +1, and then the other 2 straight D6. Let's see, so we've got 4, 3, and 6. 4. Social up by 1. Can't happen. That's all right. You know what? I would rule... I think I would, because it doesn't seem fair that you would roll a benefit that you can't receive. I'm going to say that if you roll a benefit that you somehow can't receive, like a social of 1, our social's maxed out at 15, that you get the cash benefit instead. Sorry, quick math. 65 plus 50, 115,000 credits. That might seem like a lot. I may come to regret that. But I would not, I definitely would not rule this that nothing happens. Something would have to happen. Either maybe they gain the +1, a TAS membership instead of social 1, or we'll take the cash roll for this one. Something to play with, but I definitely don't think it's fair that your character gets nothing for that benefit roll. That's just not fair. So our 4 is the first one. 3, blade. Ooh. Okay, we'll hold off on that. And 6. 6 is a yacht. Oh, hell yeah. We get a yacht. Yacht. Alrighty, and then we'll also take note. Blade. So, give me a moment, and we'll take care of those 2. Alrighty, looking at the other benefits page. The blade benefit gives us a blade weapon with a limit of 1,000 and tech level 12. If you roll this benefit again, you may take another blade or 1 level in the melee blade skill. You know, I'm going to say our character already has the blade, though our first one came from a weapon roll, not a blade roll. But I would rule it that if we don't want to take on another blade, especially one so cheap, we'll take the level in the blade skill. So that'll help deal with our aging character. So we'll say our blade, melee blade, goes up to 2 instead of 1. And then our last benefit is the yacht. You receive a yacht with 25% of the mortgage paid off on it. This yacht is identical to the one on page 202, but you must roll 1d times on the spacecraft quirks table on page 188. If you roll this benefit again, an additional 25% of the mortgage has been paid off. If you roll it 4 times, you get this 100% mortgage and it's all yours. Alternatively, you may select a safari ship instead. So let's just roll down and see that page. So we're looking at page 202, which is probably 203 in the PDF because it works ahead. Yeah. And this is our ship. Nice. The yacht is a noble's plaything, used to entertain friends and undertake political or commercial missions. The staterooms are well appointed, but even they fail to make the grade in comparison to luxury stateroom intended for the yacht's owner. The yacht carries an air/raft and a ship's boat within docking compartments. An ATV is also carried, with the ship's boat being used to ferry it from orbit to surface and back again. So I'd have to look this up and see if it comes with those things or if it can just carry those things. If it can just carry those things, we could actually go back to that benefit we rolled in the Navy and take the ship's boat and put it in our yacht. That would be pretty useful. Pretty cool. So overall, this character turned out great. The only regret I have is that the aging at the end, bringing her characteristics down, makes her less effective in combat, which is unfortunate because we don't really want to use that chainsword quite so much now, though I still want to use it greatly. And yeah, we've got a lot of skills. Most of them are at level 0 and 1. A few of them are at level 2. Could have spent more time padding those out, building them up. Would have been nice to have a level 3 skill, but that's okay. This character has a lot of experience, a lot of money, a good pension, and whole ship to go with. Thanks for hanging out. This was fun. See you in the next video.